are getting people to log in. Okay, are you
Okay,
recording
I'm
it
going to
now,
hit
Natalie?
record. It is, looks like it is recording. We are a go.
Very good. Now it's got me down as a co-host, so I guess I should click it as well. Continue.
I can hit continue. I can still
Okay.
on the slides. You just tell me next slide. Yep.
Okay. But yeah, let's stay with the first slide. Okay, let's get going here. So welcome to our CWEEL Lunch and Learn today. I am Janine Fennell, and I'm the chair of the CWEEL Career Advancement Committee for the Council on Women in Energy Environmental Leadership, known as CWEEL. And I'm very pleased to welcome you today to our session on powering personal energy, a recharge to fuel success, unplug stress, and positively energize. We think this topic is very important, and I'm delighted to be here with our presenter, Natalie Osborne, who says we have a human energy crisis. In our modern world, we're plugged in 24/7. People are tired, burned out, and running on empty. She says it's costing our organizations millions of dollars, hours of time, and she also says our capacity to be productive, to be successful, and to be happy is driven by how well we're able to renew, refuel, and manage our own personal energy. Wow, what a concept. That is great. So this issue really seems to be resonating with a good number of people, as we have over 200 attendees signed up for today's webinar. And we also are going to energize people by having some fun, and have asked our attendees to bring a Halloween mask to wear later in the session for a photo. And here's just a little sneak preview of my cool mask. And of course, if you didn't bring a mask, you can always wear your COVID mask. I mean, we've got masks galore, so help yourself here. In terms of our agenda, I'm going to provide an overview of our speaker and our CWEEL mission and organization. And then my fellow board member, CWEEL Events and Program Director, Ultramise Roberts-Tompkins, will tell you just a little bit about some highlights of some upcoming events, and then we're going to move right into our program. Also wanted to let you know that a recording of this program will be sent to attendees along with a handout from our speakers. So hope you can attend in person. We've got great breakout sessions. And if you want to send this session later to others, it'll be recorded and you'll be provided a link. So Natalie, how about the next slide here? Okay, so Natalie Osborne is the chief energizer of her own leadership development company, and is on a mission to positively power burnt out career women to fuel success, unplug stress, and energize a life you love. She has an extensive 20-year background in the energy industry and is the co-author of Ignite Your Leadership. And I got a copy of the book, and I've actually been reading it. You can tell when I put these little Post-it notes in there. And I highly recommend it. She has contributed the chapter Powering Personal Energy, the KW of Leadership. I just love how she integrates energy nomenclature into her sessions. She is a certified Canfield Success Principles trainer and is personally coached by Jack Canfield, the creator author of the famous Chicken Soup for the Soul series. So just so interesting. And prior to her business, Natalie served as a director of smart grid initiatives for Next Energy in the greater Detroit area. She earned a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, magna cum laude, from Michigan Technological University. And she's here to share some of her powering personal energy strategies that has positively charged her accomplished energy career, where she helped to implement over $500 million in energy efficiency, renewable energy, and sustainability programs. So Natalie, you are at the right place here at CWEEL, where our women and men professionals are focused on energy and environmental leadership. So for those of you who are new to CWEEL, I want to share a couple of slides on our mission and chapters around the United States. And also, if you are a CWEEL, can you type your name and AEE chapter in the chat box so we can get a better idea of our audience? And if you're not a CWEEL member, feel free to also tell us where you're coming from. And we hope that we can connect you at some point with an Association of Energy Engineer chapter, and you can join our wonderful network and organization. So in terms of CWEEL, it is a division of the Association of Energy Engineers known as AEE, and CWEEL supports women in the energy environmental sectors. It provides networking and support in career development for established professionals and women aspiring to leadership. Next slide, please. As you can see, we have many AEE chapters around the United States with CWEEL members. We have a national CWEEL liaison committee, which meets monthly, that also provides our CWEEL members with the opportunity to meet with others all around the United States on activities taking place in energy and in environmental kinds of endeavors. CWEEL is also open for men to join, and currently the chapter liaison committee includes 30 women and men from various AEE chapters. Next slide, please. CWEEL sponsors local and regional educational events and provides mentoring and scholarships for women pursuing energy and environmental careers. And I encourage you to learn more about our CWEEL programs at cweel.org. Now we will hear just some highlights from Ultramise, who's also on our CWEEL board, and then we're going to move right into our wonderful Powering Personal Energy program. So next slide, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ultramise Roberts-Tompkins, and I'm the chair of the Programs and Events Committee with CWEEL. Before we get into our awesome and exciting lunch and learn we have planned for you all today, I have a few announcements to make. AEE World will be held virtually this year on the dates of December 1st through the 4th. And if you would like to learn more information about the great events that AEE World has planned, please use the website that I have provided on the slide to your left. And also during AEE World on December 3rd and 4th, CWEEL will be hosting 3 exciting and fun events, and we hope that you all can join us. And we always welcome you to invite others. There will be more information on these events to come later, so please stay tuned. And then if you would like to become a member of CWEEL, please use the website that I have provided below. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Natalie so we can participate in the awesome and fun event that she has planned for us today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I am excited to be here and to share my Powering Personal Energy tips and strategies with you. And being an engineer, I know I like a plan. So drop a 1 in the chat if you are someone who likes a plan as well. But here's our agenda for today. In the next hour, I'm going to show you how to plug into your power, ignite your power switch, and through some interactive exercises, how to fuel your fire. So that sounds like fun. We'll go ahead and get started. So in order to make the most out of this session, I invite you to turn on your video, turn off your distractions, your email, your cell phones, your instant messaging, engage in the chat, and most importantly, have fun. I'm going to be asking you to play along with the exercises so that you can really integrate some of the learnings and energize, hopefully over the next hour. So we're going to start with our first exercise. I want to check in and kind of see where the group is at. So I would like you just to kind of take a deep breath and just think about how you're feeling in terms of your personal energy, in terms of the scale of being completely powerless all the way up to like stable smoldering and up to fully energized. And so I'm going to open up a poll here. And I'm just going to ask you to go ahead, check in with yourself, and it's completely anonymous. I'm not going to see who answers what, but check in and share how you're feeling in terms of your personal energy right now. And as we're waiting for kind of responses, here we'll go ahead and end the poll and kind of share where we're at. So good news is we've got a pretty charged group, but we've also got some folks that are feeling a little bit more overwhelmed and drained with where they're at today, which isn't surprising given all that we've got going on in the world. So thank you much for playing along there. Appreciate it. So Janine shared a little bit about who I am, my energy background. I wanted to share a slide These are some of the projects I've worked on, including co-authoring the California Solar Initiative. The slide here is my first job in the energy industry with hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. Those are some of the clients and utilities that I've worked with, the programs and services. But since we're here to talk about personal energy, I also wanted to share a little bit about who I am personally. That's my baby picture, as you can see. My dad is an astronomer, so he kind of taught me to shoot for the stars, look for the stars. He's been an energizer in my life. My mom is actually from Switzerland, so that is a picture I call Swiss Family Osborne. She would dress us up every August 1st to celebrate Swiss National Day. It's a tradition that we actually still do today with my niece and nephew, my sister's kids. That's Connor and Lauren there in the picture. I grew up here in Michigan in the town of Mount Pleasant, home of the Oilers, where I went to high school. I grew up in this little brick house, and the reason I share this house is, oh, Janine, I see your dad's an astronomer. Oh, sorry, you said my dad is an astronomer. Sorry, I'm watching the chat as well. But I like to share this house, and the reason I like to share this house is I had a bedroom on this far end of the hall, and I shared it with my sister. And since she was the early riser, more often than not, in the mid 70s and 80s when I was growing up, when my mom or dad said, "Who left the lights on in the room?" I knew it was me. And I made what felt like that million-mile march to the end of the hall to flip that switch. So I love to tell my parents that, hey, this house and you are one of the reasons I got so passionate about energy efficiency and into the energy industry. As you heard, I went up to Michigan Tech, which is in the Great White North of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, right where that dot over the second I is. After graduating, I worked in the automotive industry for a while, and then I moved out to California. My father's originally from Southern California, so I wanted to get out, see the sunshine, see what Southern California had to offer. I was rock climbing at the time. Beach girl, enjoy the beach. That's a view of my rooftop deck of where I used to live. And that led me to not only the energy industry with the fuel cell vehicles with my automotive background, but also studying with Jack Canfield, who's Chicken Soup for the Soul author, which led to meeting my co-authors from Ignite Your Leadership and authoring the book, which became an international bestseller in 2017. And that brings me to today, where I'm sharing the Powering Personal Energy work within our industry. And Ignite Your Leadership, an updated version, will actually be released in 2021. So I invite you to get a copy of the book, but if you want to wait for the updated version next year, that's great too. And so after 14 years of living in California, I moved back to the Midwest. Because I really didn't want to miss out on my niece and nephew growing up. That's a picture of us celebrating my parents' 40th wedding anniversary a couple years back. It also brought me back to a sibling rivalry. As you can see, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. My sister is a Bears fan. Grow up, my niece and nephew did. My nephew is now a sophomore in high school. My niece is in the 6th grade. And as you can see from this picture taken this past summer, they are both taller than their Aunt Nat. It also brought me back to come back to Michigan. I also met my boyfriend here. I say brought me back. He and I actually went to high school together. If you would have told me in high school we would be together now, I would have shrugged my shoulders and waved you off. Charlie has 3 kids, Emma, Gavin, and Rowan. So those are affectionately my part-time kids. And it also brought me back here to my hometown. I'm back in Mount Pleasant. Also an oiler in a different way. I use essential oils to fuel my personal energy, fuel a non-toxic lifestyle. And I also really enjoy getting out on the lakes. All the Great Lakes have to offer. I'm a paddle boarder. I'm also a skier and snowboarder in the winter, cross-country skier. And that is a picture of my dog, Kimber. She's a Catahoula, and I affectionately call her the Catahooligan because she is a pretty anxious young pup. So why are we here today? We are here to talk about how our energy and our personal energy, but our time and our energy are our 2 most valuable resources. So I want to get a pulse, and I'm going to invite you to play along in the chat, but drop a 1 in the chat if you have ever had a course on time management. And, learning time management tips that your company puts you through or are using time management tips. All right, awesome. You'll see it's lighting up. So drop a 2 in the chat if you've ever had a course on energy management. And I'm not talking about energy management in terms of building management, but our own personal energy management, right? Not a lot of us. couple of us have talked energy management. But I love to share about personal energy management because time, while it's great, is not renewable, but our personal energy is 100% renewable. And so with some of the things I want to do here today is show you how to renew and refuel that personal energy. Because as Janine mentioned, I'm having trouble with my slides here, I believe we have a human energy crisis. And I think this was going on, or I believe this was going on well before, COVID hit, but it's even gotten worse with COVID, right? We're juggling, and I apologize to the men in the group here, that these are all slides of women, but we are balancing, the distractions now at home, the pressures of work. We've got the pandemic, which is impacting our health and vitality if we're getting sick or have had friends that have gotten sick, all that home life. And, we really need to look at ways to have a positive mindset, positive motivation and energy. And so first thing I want to do is offer up a strategy to help unplug stress. And it is an exercise, or actually an exercise by a mentor that I love to follow, a gentleman named John Assaraf. And you may be familiar with him or have heard of him. He was in a movie called The Secret, where he talked about a vision board that he had created and cutting out a picture of a home. And then years later, actually moving into a home, and while unpacking boxes, realized that he had actually purchased the home he had cut out and put on his vision board years earlier. But he wrote a book called Energize, and he has a exercise or exercise called Take 6 to Calm Your Circuits. And it goes like this. Can be done simply over the course of the minute, but it's just 6 deep breaths in a rhythmic pattern. In through the nose and out through the mouth like you're blowing through a straw. And as you're breathing in through the nose, and go ahead and join with me if you'd like, repeating the mantra, I am breathing in calmness. And when you blow out through the nose or through the mouth, through like you're going through a straw, I breathe out stress. I breathe in calmness. I breathe out stress. I breathe in calmness. I breathe out stress. So that's just a little simple exercise. I know we only did a couple deep breaths there, but I invite you to use it. I know that I use it when I just need a minute to kind of just chill out and calm down. And if you're interested in the book by John Assaraf and Energize, I just put a copy of that or a link in the chat there. Feel free to take it, feel free to use it. And if that was helpful for you, let me know. If it's landed, drop a 1 in the chat. So now that we're grounded and centered, I want to talk about how we plug into our power. And because I'm an energy gal, I've actually talked about power in this way. Power is our P, our potential, that infinite, amazing potential that each and every one of us has within inside us, right? We are all unique, creative, amazing beings. And I know sometimes we forget that about ourselves, but we have this amazing potential. And that is coupled with the O, the opportunities that we choose to pursue in our lives, those goals, those dreams, the things we want to chase, the jobs we have, where we went to school, the degrees we pursued. And also coupled with the wisdom, or the W, right? This is the knowledge that we have. And each of us has our own inherent knowledge, right? We've had different educations. We have different upbringings, different backgrounds. It's what we've learned from our parents, our mentors. It's those hard knocks lessons in life, right? Drop a yes in the chat if you've had hard knock lessons in life, because I believe many of us have. And those are things that, while we're going through them, don't necessarily fuel us positively, but on the other side, we tend to see the lessons, right? And the wisdom that they offer us. And then E, the effort that we exert, right? The actions that we take in chasing our dreams and goals, or those actions that we choose not to take that might actually fuel us a little differently, right? Taking a break, taking those deep breaths when we feel stressed out. And finally, the R, the responsibility that we take for all of this and the responsibility that we take for our lives as individuals. Because yes, each and every one of us is extremely powerful. You are a powerful, amazing being. And, Janine shared that I'm on this mission to positively power, career women and actually just professionals in general, positively power your life and recognize that power within inside you. And so my goal today is hopefully give you a glimpse of that power and energize you and give you some strategies that you can take with you to energize a life that you love. And because I'm an engineer, and I like to call myself an engineer, I love to talk about this through the analogy of the simple circuit, right? So there is our infinite capacity over here, our potential that we all have within inside us. And the way we can fuel that and tap into that is all about how well we are grounded in what I call our energizing KW, in knowing who, knowing what, and knowing why. And this is what I share in the chapter of Ignite Your Leadership. And I'll give you a little bit of a teaser, but if you order Ignite, there's actually exercises on how to fuel clarity on the 3KW. But knowing who is knowing who we are, right? Our positives, our strengths, our weaknesses, our good, our bad, and our ugly, embracing all of that. It's also about knowing who we need to surround ourselves with, right? Who are those people that are going to lift us up in life, cheer us on? Who are those mentors that we need to learn from or be coached by? It's also knowing who some of those energy vampires are. Drop a 1 in the chat if there's somebody in your life or somebody where, just thinking about them sucks your energy, right? And so knowing who to eliminate or spend or minimize your time with. And sometimes you can't eliminate time, right? I think we all probably have a relative, right, that we get together with at Thanksgiving or Christmas that, kind of sucks our energy and we have to protect our energy field. The knowing what, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. This is our goals, right? What we want to accomplish, getting clear on what that looks like. Visualizing what that looks like. I talked a little bit about John Asseroff and his vision board and picturing that home that he wanted, knowing how to measure it, knowing what we need to measure to get there, knowing what we need to learn, what skills we need to acquire, knowing what skills we don't have that we may need to, find someone to bring onto our team, which gets back to the knowing who has that skill that I need to bring because I need that on our team. And then finally, the knowing why. And knowing why, I think, is one of the most powerful drivers. We think about who we are, we think about what we want, but we don't always take time to think about why we want something or why it matters. And I'm not going to go into the nuggets of that here, but if you get a copy of Ignite Your Leadership, there's some exercises on looking towards your purpose and how to dive into your why, because I think it's important. The clearer you can be on your why, the more it'll motivate you. And if you have a strong enough why, it'll energize you to get beyond those excuses, right? To deal with that resistance, right? There's that part of the circuit, right? To deal with those resistances in our lives. If we are fueled by this burning desire and this powerful why, we'll find a way to get through that resistance. And just like exercise, in taking on these resistances in our lives will strengthen our muscles. So the KW are the energizers. Once we, take charge of those energizers to get clarity, we have that power switch we've activated. We've taken charge of our lives and we put ourselves in a position to light up those light bulbs, those goals, those dreams that we really want to chase in life, right? So I am going to ask you guys to play along in the chat, but I'm going to see if there are 2 of you that might be brave and willing to play a little game with me. And don't worry, it'll be fun. And the rest of you are going to play along in the chat, but type me in the chat if you are interested in unmuting and playing along. All right, Alexa, go ahead and unmute your mic. And Aditi, did I say that right? Go ahead and unmute your mics.
Unmuted.
Awesome, welcome. So here's what we're gonna do. We are just gonna repeat or just finish the phrase, I can't. And for those of you that are playing along in the chat, you're just gonna type into the chat, I can't. And you're gonna think of what are these things that you feel like you can't do? Like I can't swim, or I can't sing, Or I can't get myself up 5 minutes early to do some few minutes of stretches before I start fueling my day. I can't seem to drink those 8 ounces of water that I needed in a day to stay properly hydrated. And an important one for me is I can't seem to make time to get my dog, the Catahooligan, to a trainer to deal with her anxiety issues. So Alexa, do you want to share a couple of your I can'ts? And then Aditi, do you want to share one or two of yours?
Sure.
I can't read a book without falling asleep. Do you want me to go on?
Share two or three. Share two or three.
I can't lose weight. I can't. I can't focus on a contract review.
Awesome. Aditi, you have a couple you want to share?
Sure. I can't swim without, fear of drowning because I'm still practicing. I can't focus for extended periods of time without needing that. Oh, I need a break. I need a break right now. And these are all the tasks I'll accomplish.
Awesome.
I can't get to those tasks on my task list that I keep pushing off to the next day or the next week because they're not important.
Yep. And I say awesome because I appreciate the sharing, and I'm watching the chat. I don't know if you see this. I can't exercise regularly. I can't get a break. I can't make time for myself, right? I can't. Well, guess what? We're going to repeat that with I won't. And if you can't remember what you just said, or you can't remember what you just put in the chat, just start with I won't remember what I put in the chat. So I won't get up 5 minutes early to get those stretches in that I want to get in. I should probably spend 15 minutes on that. I won't make time to get to the trainer, to get the Catahooligan, dealing with her anxiety issues. I won't drink that water. So go ahead.
We're going to do the ones we just did. I can't, another I won't.
Just come up with a couple I won'ts.
I won't lose weight. I won't review contracts. I won't read a hard book.
All right. I won't swim without fear of drowning. I won't focus for extended periods of time. I won't get to those pesky tasks on my task list.
Yeah, and you'll see in the chat, I won't walk every day. I won't sing. I won't deal with the family drama. So Alexa and Aditi, so energetically with I can't and I won't, and for those of you going on in the chat, type a 1 if it resonates with you. Did it feel different to say I can't versus I won't?
Yes, it does feel different because I won't doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel real. So what do you mean it doesn't feel real? Clarify that a little bit.
It's not that I won't, it's just that I'm having trouble with it. I want to.
Right. I said that and I immediately felt, oh, no, but I want to get that done. I do want to do
Actually,
that.
the can't was hard too, you have to admit, right?
Yes.
Anything else, or did anyone else in the chat have a distinction between I can't or I won't that you want to share? So for me, I can't seems to give away power, whereas I won't seems to say, hey, and I will or I will not do this, or I want to or I don't want to do this, right? So energetically, it fuels us differently. Whereas I can't puts us in a place of kind of being a victim in our lives versus I won't activates that switch, that power switch, right? That you have the power of choice.
Yeah, there was somebody who said up here, they said, I can't say I can't.
Right.
I was like,
yes. I love that. And I am going to encourage you, to look at the word choices you're making and, kind of maybe over the next 30 days, or if you want to just try it for the next week, just a little step forward. When you notice yourself saying, I can't, take a pause and frame it to I won't, and ask yourself, is this something that is an excuse in what I'm saying I can't, or is it something that I really don't want to do, so I won't do it? And that's okay to honor that, right? Especially for us as women, right? Sometimes we don't say no to things that we want to say no to, and there's power in that. No is a complete sentence. It's okay to own that power too. So Alexis and Aditi, thank you so much. I appreciate you playing along. You can go ahead and mute your mics. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Because I'm an engineer at heart, I love to take this analogy even one step further with V equals IR. So who remembers V equals IR from high school physics? And I mean, you should all know it, right? It's Ohm's law. Well, V in this case, and the way I like to present the V is our value. This is the value that we power into the world. This is the value and how we feel about ourselves, our self-esteem, the value we feel for ourselves. And that is directly proportional to the I, or our individual as an individual, who we are, and that R, responsibility that we take for it. So the power that and the value that I put out in that world is directly proportional to the responsibility I take for it. So how does that feel? Like, drop a 1 in the chat if that's making sense, if you're following me on this, because it's hard to get feedback on Zoom when we're not all chatting. Yeah, right? But that word responsibility, right? I used it before in kind of grounding our power, right? How many of you put a yes or a yay if you absolutely love responsibility and you would take responsibility day in, day out, night after night? You want more responsibility, throw it at you. And drop a no or a nay if, you know, responsibility is one of those words where you don't really have a relationship with it. I mean, not that you don't have a relationship with it, but that you're like, I don't really, you know, want a lot of responsibility, or responsibility stresses me out. And I'm loving this in the chat. You guys are responsible folks, right? You're engineers. You like to take responsibility. You love to power your life. So I love that. But responsibility, yes, one of my favorite quotes, Isabella. I love that. With great responsibility comes great power. I'm a Spider-Man junkie. I actually have Spider-Man sleeping bag when I was a kid. Kind of wish I still had it today because, oh my gosh, I love that quote. But responsibility is really just our ability to respond, right? It's allowing us that power of choice and how we respond to the situations in our life, right? We have different things that go on, right? This pandemic, some of us have chosen to respond by hunkering down in our homes and saying, hey, this is constricting my life and I can't get out there. I can't do what I want. It's disrupted my work schedule. Versus other folks have chose to respond with saying, yes, it's disrupted my work schedule, but I can also learn something new. Like those of you here, you guys have chosen to be here today and learn how to fuel your energy and look at taking something that's going to energize you differently. And that's a choice that you make, right? I'll give you another example. When I lived out in Southern California, you know, I used to get caught in that 405 traffic, and you're welcome to steal this and use it as you will. But I, got tired of being in rush hour traffic, and I love to listen to the music and sing along. But I one day decided, you know what, I'm going to make it fun. I am going to get a bottle of those soap bubbles from the drugstore. And so I kept it in my car. And when I would get stuck on a standstill in the 405, I just roll down the window on those sunny California days and start blowing soap bubbles out into there, right? Or out through my sunroof. And I'll tell you what, it shifted my energy level. It was a lot of fun for me. And I also noticed that a lot of times it shifted the energy of the folks in the cars around me. So just a simple thing like that. In fact, I still actually keep soap bubbles in my car today. So V equals IR. Anyone remember what that is? The value, our value that we power in the world is directly proportional to our individual I and the responsibility we take for it. So in essence, I own it, right? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get to my controls here. I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna ask you to unmute. It's easier, it doesn't look like I can do an unmute all. So I'm gonna ask you to unmute because here's what we're all gonna do together. We are gonna own our power. We are gonna take this on, right? We, on the count of 3, so when you're ready, unmute. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna claim it. I own it, so ready? 1, 2, 3. I own it. All right, one more time. I own it. Awesome. Yes, you own your power. And how you choose to show up in the world and who you choose to be, own it, own all of it, own the good, own the bad, own the ugly, share it, because you are an amazing, brilliant, awesome creature. We, each and every one of us, and I passionately believe this, we are all here for a purpose. We are all here to share and be our amazing, vibrant selves in the world. And that doesn't mean we're going to be 100% on and 100% vibrant every day. We're not. But, and even those individuals out there, those energy vampires, those people that are prickling us, right? They're here to serve. They're here to serve in different ways. They're here for their purpose. And sometimes their service in our lives is to show us that, hey, maybe we have to let that go right now so that we can grow and that we can move forward. Or they're teaching us a lesson. Or, and this is a scary thing sometimes they're a reflection of something within us that we need to take a look at, right? And maybe we have to ask that question, you know, hey, this is really driving me crazy. And this person's really irritating me right now, but what is it that they're doing right now? And is there ever a circumstance where maybe I've been that for somebody else? It's all lessons learned. So any questions of anything I've gone over so far? Anything that's resonating? Anything anyone wants to share before we move into some fun? I don't see anything. So we're going to take a pause here. And how many of you guys brought your masks? Type a 1 in the chat if you brought a mask to today's session. And if you did, I'm going to invite you to turn on your videos. And I am going to stop sharing the screen here because all right, let's put on your masks. We're going to go ahead and take a picture. We're going to have some Halloween fun. I can't get mine on. So to go ahead and turn on gallery view, take a look, turn on your mic if you want, share some comments. Oh, looks like a handful of us. And if you didn't bring a Halloween mask, I know. Oh, yes, they're the COVID masks. Yes, I love it.
Oh, well.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is a mask. My boyfriend, his ex-wife was actually Italian. So I said, I need a mask for my thing tomorrow. And he said, oh, I have some from when I went to Carnival. So, but I'm going to ask you to leave your masks on here because Janine asked me to grab a couple screenshots. Oh, these masks are great. Awesome. Anyone else want to share a mask? Oops. Awesome, I got a screenshot. It's hard to say smile. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for playing along with that. Who had fun with that? Who enjoyed seeing the masks? Awesome. All right, I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Can everyone see the slide deck again? Put a yes in the chat. Awesome. All right. So how much of this is powering value for you guys already? Is it helping a little bit with your energy? Are you getting some tips, some strategies? Are you enjoying it? Nancy, what did you miss? Is there something I can help explain? All right. Let me know. If there's a question, feel free to put it in the chat. So now is the point where if you are distracted or multitasking, I'm going to ask you to come back and pay attention because we are going to get into the heart of some of the exercises that I hope can help fuel your fire. And I'm going to ask you guys to do the work. I'm just actually here to guide you on a couple things. So one of the things that Janine didn't share and that I haven't shared yet is I'm actually a Franklin Covey facilitator. I worked for Franklin Covey for a couple years, and one of the content areas I'm certified in is the 5 choices to extraordinary productivity. And so I love sharing this choice 5, which is fuel your fire with the powering personal energy work, because these energy drivers are so relevant to how we can serve ourselves in establishing patterns of like energy renewal in our lives. And so the 5 drivers. So I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if lately you've been really tired, burnt out, barely able to get through the day. You know, your work is kind of frustrating you. Drop a 2 if you've got peaks and valleys, the day ebbs and flows, you know, you're tired sometimes, but not all the time. And then drop a 3 if you have high levels of energy throughout the workday, you absolutely love what you do, you're completely passionate about what you do. And you'll see in the chat that we have, you know, people in all ends of the spectrum. We've got folks that are tired and burnt out. We've got folks that are in the middle. We've got highly energized folks on the call today, right? And sometimes you have a combination of both. That's right, Janine. We definitely ebb and flow. So the 5 energy drivers is all about finding ways to make time to move, right? This is getting exercise, because exercise and movement fuels our bodies. We are beings that are meant to move around and use our bodies. We're not meant to be stagnant, right? It's also how we eat and how we put you know, what we fuel our bodies with. Are we eating nutritious foods? Are we eating that junk food? Are we having that, you know, ice cream, you know, at 10 o'clock at night before we go to bed, right? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we recharging our batteries? Is that sleep restful sleep? Or is it, you know, tossing and turning? I know I went through a period in my life where I had really anxious sleep. I just wasn't able to sleep. And I really had to teach myself to do things like unplug the TV and get off my computer at least an hour before I wanted to wind down so I could turn my mind off. My mind is, you know, very energetic and tends to run. And sometimes that impacts my sleep. And then, of course, relaxing. And this isn't, this could be taking a nap, but this is finding the things that fuel you and motivate you, taking a break, taking time to get out and do something that you enjoy. And then the 5th driver is connection. And connecting with, you know, people that are important in your life, people that fuel you, but as well as connecting with, you know, your value, your mission, your purpose, right? If you've studied the 7 habits, and Franklin Covey work, you know, Stephen Covey does an exercise on looking at your life purpose, and that can be a mission statement or a mantra. It's whatever it is for you. But we're going to do an exercise here. So I'm going to ask you to grab a pen and paper if you're handy. Reading helps you wind down, definitely. Grab a pen and paper, and we are going to take a baseline of just where we are in our lives right now. And after today's webinar, Janine shared, I'll be sending out some resources. I'm actually going to share this baseline and this with you, and you can use it to check in a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, however you want to use it. But you're going to score yourself in each of the content areas, and I'm going to read through them on a scale of 1 to 10. And no one's going to see this but yourself, so be honest with where you're at. So the first one, number 1, I get up and move regularly throughout the workday. So on a 1 to 10 scale, go ahead and rank yourself on I get up and move regularly throughout the workday. Number 2, I have a consistent exercise program that boosts my energy. Nope, we're not sharing these. Just write them down personally, keep them private. I have a consistent exercise program that boosts my energy. On a 1 to 10 scale, write down, I have a consistent exercise program that boosts my energy. And then on a 1 to 10 scale, number 3, I eat in a way that provides sustained energy throughout the day. On a 1 to 10 scale, I eat in a way that provides sustained energy throughout the day. Number 4, I have a pattern of eating nutritious food at every meal. Number 4, on a 1 to 10 scale, I have a pattern of eating nutritious food at every meal. Number 5, in the sleep category, I get at least 7 hours of quality sleep each night. So on a 1 to 10 scale, I get at least 7 hours of quality sleep each night. Number 8, I am satisfied with the quality of sleep I get each night. So on a 1 to 10 scale, I am satisfied with the quality of sleep I get each night. And then relax, number 7. I have effective coping strategies to deal with stress. On a 1 to 10 scale, I have effective coping strategies to deal with stress. And this one might be hitting home for a lot of us. I think 2020 has definitely taught us about our coping strategies for dealing with stress. All right, number 8. My lifestyle supports my ability to manage stress. On a 1 to 10 scale, my lifestyle supports my ability to manage stress. And then finally, under connection or connect, number 9, I take time to connect regularly with the important people in my life. On a 1 to 10 scale, I take time to connect regularly with the important people in my life. And finally, number 10, I regularly connect with the purposes and values that make my life meaningful. On a 1 to 10 scale, I regularly connect with the purposes and values that make my life meaningful. All right. Does anyone need me to repeat one if you can't see the screen or any of the choices? And when you're done, a question, example for question number 10. Do you take time to just kind of connect with what your core values are, who you are, or maybe your life purpose or why you're doing things? I regularly connect with the purposes and values that make my life meaningful. Connecting with things that provide meaning to your life, things that bring you joy. All right, so I want you to kind of tally up in each of the categories. And Isabella, awesome, you're ahead of the game there. And after you tally each of the categories, I want you to take note of your total score as well. And when you've got your total in the categories and your total score, drop a 1 in the chat. If you want to share them, you're fine. You guys are great. I love that you're being bold. Sometimes folks aren't bold. So I am going to actually share a quick poll so we can all see where folks are. In terms of your score, you know, if you're living positively powered, if you're plugging in and charging, or if you definitely need a little bit of a fuel up right now. And I love that you guys are playing along and sharing your scores in the chat. Thank you for that. So I'm going to share the results here because we've got, of course, whoops, oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. So we've got somebody in every category, or we've got folks in every category, and that's okay because that's just where we're at right now. But the beauty of it is each and every one of us probably has a category or a category we might want to focus on more. And so I want each of you to think about, look at your categories and maybe look at the one where you have the lowest score or one that just is kind of calling to you that you want to focus on. And I want you to think of 1 or 2 specific actions. And then afterwards you can, that you can take to kind of move that forward. So for example, I'm going to pick the eat category because earlier this year, when we first went into kind of the stay put and stay put orders here in Michigan, I was making sure to try new Instapot recipes and eat healthier and heading into summer and grilling outside. And of course, you know, maybe having a beer or 2. I'm not going to say that I fully do that, but I do in the summer. I kind of lost track of eating healthier. And so one of the actions steps I'm going to commit to is just looking at how I can get back to those healthier Instapot recipes, making sure I have my veggies, making sure I have a side salad, not just having the burger and fries. So think, take a few moments here and just kind of look at the categories and think of a specific action step in 1 or the 2 of the categories that you're going to commit to. And when you have kind of a couple action items, just drop a 1 in the chat so I know you're done. Awesome. We have a lot of folks chiming in. All right, drop a 2 if you need more time. The numbers 1 and 2, Nancy, just give me a pulse and some feedback on who's ready and who's done. That's all it is. The overall numbers just mean how fueled you are. Did I answer your question? Oh, if you scored a 50 versus an 80. So it just means where you are in terms of your habits, in terms of establishing a pattern of how you renew your energy. You want to be on the higher end of the spectrum. Because that means you've got positive habits and things that you've incorporated into your life. And in terms of normal, there really isn't a normal. The normal is this is just a baseline. It's not something to compare to yourself to others or to compare what's right and what's wrong. And I think that's a great question because it opens up the opportunity to kind of get into this, right? We tend to compare ourselves to things, right? And so drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever compared yourself to others, right? Definitely, like 1 for sure, right? 1, 1, 1. I love that, right? So now drop a 2 in the chat if you've ever compared yourself to somebody and came out exactly even. Right? So Rosalind, you've actually compared yourself to someone and come out exactly even. So that rarely happens. You'll see, hardly ever, but every once in a while, very rarely does that happen. And that's because we are all on our own path. We are all where we're at. And so one of the things, we sometimes get attached to this, what's normal, what's good, what should it be? And the answer is, what is that for you, right? So in terms of your score, if you're happy with a 50 and you're feeling 100% energized in your life and you're 100% fulfilled, then your 50 is okay if you're in the middle of the spectrum. But my guess is if you've got a lower score, that your energy isn't 100%. You're not feeling 100% energized or fueled or fulfilled in your life. And so it's just really a baseline. And so when I share the follow-up resources, you can take this test, this little quiz, this baseline, whenever you want and kind of check in with yourself. So what I'm going to do real quick here is I am going to put you guys into some breakout rooms. And what you're going to do when you go into the breakout rooms is first, I want you to introduce yourselves, who you are and where you're from, and the company you work for. And then just share one of your action items that you're going to commit to in terms of fueling a habit that'll fuel your fire. Does that make sense? Drop a 1 if you understand what we're going to do in the breakout rooms. You're going to share your name, where you're from, and one of your action items. All right. So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms of about 3 or 4. So hold on here while I get this set up. We're going to have about 20 breakout rooms here. So there's about 3 or 4 of you in each breakout room. So take about a minute each. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to connect. And then we'll bring you back and we'll circle up. So once again, you're going to introduce yourself, where you're from, company you work for, and then your one action item. And if you haven't done breakout rooms on a Zoom before, as soon as I hit create here, you're going to get a button pops up that says enter the breakout room. So go ahead and accept. And if you're willing, I encourage you to turn on your video so that you can engage and chat with others that way. Hello, is everyone coming back?
Yeah, I didn't have someone to talk to.
Yeah, I tried to pop into your breakout room and then it started closing breakout rooms. So do you want to share with the group? Are you comfortable with that? Or
Yes, I am.
if
Yeah, so I'm Isabella. I'm from Romania, working as trainers for Emerson, a multinational company. And yeah, my perk would be to walk more, and I'm doing it every day just by walking by foot a few bus stations.
Awesome, awesome. And it looks like we're actually all in a breakout room together. So I'm going to let you guys continue. Did everyone here get a chance to go?
I didn't hear. Jordan was with me on the breakout room, and I didn't hear her or him.
So we're going to go back to the main room. All right, it's not letting me go back.
I think we're in the main room.
Natalie, you're back.
Am I back? All right, I popped into a breakout room and it was doing something funky with the controls. So sorry about that, you guys. Thank you. So how'd you guys enjoy the breakout rooms? Did you get some ideas, tips on how to fuel your fire from some of your participants that you were in the rooms with? Yes, no, no one wants to share. Drop a 1 in the chat if you learned something or got an idea that you hadn't thought of. Awesome. Reopening windows here, bear with me. So we are gonna do another exercise to fuel our fire. So anyone want to type in the chat something that they're gonna do or they're gonna commit to in terms of fueling their fire? So for example, I'm gonna commit to eating more veggies. I'm gonna try and drink that water. Try to do yoga daily. Oh, that's something I should probably add as well. So, well, thank you guys for playing with that. Oh, going on to the next slide. Having Zoom controls. It's got all the windows open. Read more, drink less, prepare healthy foods, commit to getting better at my own QC activities. Awesome. So another way we are going to fuel our energy is I want to do an exercise on fueling, energizing what fuels us, right? So what we just did was a little exercise on fueling our energy drivers and our healthy habits. And right, those are probably things that we know we should be doing, to fuel our energy and, keep motivated. But this exercise is more going to be about playing and dreaming and energizing and recognizing what you love. And so, for example, some of the things that really fuel me are I love to get together with friends and just completely goof off and have a good time. This is a picture of me and some of my Canfield trainer friends goofing off at the pool. I conned them into taking a goofy picture with me. I love to photobomb. That's one of the things that I have a lot of fun doing. Getting out to Lake Michigan. We have beautiful sand beaches up in Sleeping Bear Dunes, northern part of Michigan here. I love being out on the water. That's why I probably lived in California for 14 years, totally a beach girl. But blessed to be back here in Michigan because I also love the seasons. Autumn is one of my favorite seasons. Love Halloween. I wish I would have had a better mask for today, but that is a Halloween costume a couple years ago where I was Amelia Earhart. Love dressing up. I have also been Flo from Progressive. One year, a boyfriend and I were two people in a tub. So love to come up with crazy costume ideas at Halloween. Mention my family. Love, love, love my family. We love to play games, get together, goof off, visit. Love to dance. I'm usually someone who tends to dance like no one's watching. I've been known to get folks dancing. I actually came up with a dance called a line dance called the canoe one year, where I'd had people kind of go around the room rowing on opposite sides, kind of like the Macarena. Told everyone it was the biggest dance craze in Europe. So those are some things that fuel me. And then I love to collect experiences. So that final picture there, skiing and snowboarding. My brother lived in Dubai for a while, so I got the opportunity to go and visit him. And I said, you know what, the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that mall where you can ski indoors. And so that is a picture of when I tackled the indoor ski slope at the mall, which is all of probably a 10-15 second run, but it was a lot of fun. So I want you guys, and you guys should know this, to kind of think about what are those things that energize you? What are things that you may or may not be doing every day? They could be little things that you could weave into your schedule. Could be big things. I love to collect adventures and go on vacation, but of course things are shut down and we can't really do that as much anymore. So I look forward to that opening up, right? I have a goal to go to all 50 states. I've been to 49 of them. I'm missing Maine and South Carolina. So just kind of think through. I want you to take a few minutes right now and just brainstorm, write down what are things that fuel you, and to kind of give you guys some food for thought. I've added some things that I love to do. I love to get out and enjoy the sunset. That's something simple. I love to invest in my personal growth, read a book, roast marshmallows over a summer campfire, facilitate workshops like this. So take a few minutes here. I'm going to kind of put a pause on the speaking to let you guys brainstorm. You can chime in the chat with you as you want if you'd like. But make that list and, just to, think about those things that you may or may not have had the time to do that makes you smile, brings joy. Pickleball, cross-country skiing. I love cross-country skiing. Where do you ski, Alexa? Travel, meeting new people.
Colorado, up in Vail area. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Summer boating, awesome. So, because I know not everyone likes to chime in via the chat, we're going to go back into breakout rooms, and you are going to be in new breakout rooms. And this time you guys are just going to share with each other, what are those things that fuel you? What are the things that you love to do? Maybe it's a family member. What really lights you up? What makes you smile when you think about it? What brings you joy? Whether it's an activity, a book you recently read, a movie you watched, a song you like to listen to. So when you go back into your groups, once again, share your name, where you're from, and 2 or 3 things that really light you up and passions that energize you. So I'm going to go ahead and set up breakout rooms again. Oops, I've got to. Actually, it's taken me a little time here because I thought it was going to let me randomize it again, but it looks like it's going to put you back in the same room. So bear with me here because I want to make sure that we have folks in every room. We had a situation last time where I accidentally got a couple people in rooms with no one else. So my apologies for that. All right, here you go. Welcome back. Gonna give folks another minute or so to wrap up their rooms. How'd you enjoy your rooms? Feel free to unmute if you want. Welcome back, letting folks close up in their rooms or finish up in their rooms and head back. If anyone wants to share an energizer that they had in the chat, feel free, or something you enjoyed about the room or learned about from the folks in your room, that would the chat, go ahead. I guess drop a 1 in the chat if you actually had fun in your breakout rooms. I want to see who's with me, who's enjoying this, who's having fun.
That was very interesting. Yeah, I was just getting into it. I was like, wait, what? And then they disappeared because we came back, but it was great.
Did everyone have enough time to share?
I think we didn't hear from one person, but yeah, otherwise we had a lot of fun. We had just started to hit it off, and then it ended.
Sorry, well, that's good to know. I will allow a little extra time next time. There was a couple larger groups I noticed, so. So one of the things after one of the resources I'll send out is actually a worksheet on your 25 energizers. And it's a list that you can all create if you choose to, and just writing down 25 things that energize you. It's something you can do, you know, something you can think about. And then there'll be kind of a little scorecard where you can kind of mark, is that something that you can do alone, or it has something you have to do with somebody? Is it something that you can do in under 15 minutes? Is it something that you have to plan, or something that's spontaneous? And it'll give you a chart that you can kind of keep handy and refer to, so that when you need a little pick me up or a little energizer, you can go to your list and say, hey, this is something I need to put into my life, right? And if you have that list handy, you can think about it, right? And so one of the things I encourage you to do to power your personal energy is really think about the things that fuel you. Find ways to fuel them into your life. Make time for those things that fuel you, because you're important, right? We're not here to live these drudgerous, stressed out, burnt out lives, right? We're here to live and experience and laugh and love and be fulfilled, right? And we shouldn't rob ourselves the opportunity for that. And that comes back to, you know, taking responsibility for creating that value, right? Not just powering the value of who we are into the world, but powering that value in our lives and taking responsibility for powering that value in your own life, right? Yeah, so Sylvia says she's in her company, she's the only female engineer, and people tended to not take me as serious as my male colleagues. And yeah, that can happen, right? For we as women, sometimes we get discounted, but we have to look for ways not to make that an excuse, and to, you know, Sylvia, you know, find ways to, you know, not necessarily brag or come off as egotistical, but say, hey, you know, here's something that I contribute to the team, or here's the value I bring. Because, you know, there are ways where you should be recognized for that, because my guess is that you power incredible value on your team, right? And it is recognized. And sometimes maybe it's just asking for that feedback, right? You know, another way you can power personal energy is, you know, get feedback from people that you know and trust. You know, when you're getting to know who you are, you know, ask them, you know, hey, how do I show up? What are my strengths? What are things that, you know, might be standing in my way? You know, what are my weaknesses? Where am I holding myself back, right? That's a scary question to ask somebody. But if you take time to go through that exercise and learn that, you can say, hey, that's a skill that I either need to learn, or that's a skill that's not inherently natural to me, or a skill I don't really even want to learn. So maybe I need to delegate that. Or maybe I need to find someone to take that off my to-do list, right? And when we start taking responsibility for things like that, we start fueling ourselves differently, right? We create the space to say yes to what we want to say yes to by saying no to the things we don't want to say yes to. Is that landing? Is that making sense? Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys hear me on that, if that makes sense. Yeah. So In terms of today's session, how many of you enjoyed what happened? Got a tip, maybe a tip or two? If you want to drop a note in the chat, what's one takeaway that you think you'll take with you in powering your personal energy after today's session? If you want to chime in on that, love to hear from you guys on what you think you'll take forward once we get off this webinar. It's a great break in the middle of the day, learning about what you like and what fuels you. Any other key takeaways? Is there a habit that you'll implement from the Fuel Your Fire? Need to socialize more with other female engineers. Remind yourself that you have the power. Yes, yes, yes. That you're no good to others if you can't fuel yourself first in the energy circuit. I love it. I love it. So we're going to go back to where we started with the power check. And I want all of you to kind of check in with yourselves, take a breath. And we're going to relaunch this poll. And check in with where we're at. So go ahead and look at where you started and where you are now. And, you know, maybe you've come up a little bit, maybe you haven't, it doesn't matter. We're just going to see where we're at. And look at that. I did my job. We raised the vibration level just a little bit. We still have one person who feels like they're a bit smoldering and in the stew of things, and that's okay. Sometimes we're just going to have days like that. But we did kind of elevate the overall energy of the group. And so that makes me happy. I'm glad that this fueled some value and powered some energy in your lives. So I have another last thing I want to do before we kind of wrap things up and I hand it back to Janine and Altramise, but I want to share just a poem written by a friend of mine called The Point of Power. And I love this poem. It's written by my friend Sybil, and I think it really captures the essence of powering our personal energy and who we are. So feel free to close your eyes, take a deep breath, just listen, whatever feels comfortable for you, but it's called The Point of Power. So the point of power is now, right where you are. It's not in the past or future, and it is near, not far. And each of us has the power to choose our thoughts and our actions. It is our choice to create, for our thoughts are magnetic attractions. So whenever you feel stuck, you're trying to be somewhere you're not, but the point of power is now, and that's the power you've got. The rest is guilt or worry, anger, frustration, or fear. Yet none of those emotions are empowering, and the point of power is here. So in this moment right now, the power is in your hands. Take hold of it and use it and create the life you plan. And so here in closing, for those of you that are interested and want to continue to power up, a couple things I have to offer. Of course, Ignite Your Leadership. You can get the chapter Powering Personal Energy, the KW of Energized Leaders, as well as 10 other amazing chapters by my co-authors. And the book is actually in 3 parts, one on leading yourself, leading others, and leading organizations. You can order that via the hyperlink there, and I will put a link to the book in the chat as well. You can also, if you are interested, I am launching a personal energy fuel up here starting November 11th. And what that's going to be is just a 4-week fuel up between mid-November to early December. We'll take the week of Thanksgiving off, but really connecting with other women. Sorry, gentlemen on the call, this is geared towards women, but really to fuel you up for the holidays, get you clear on who you are, what you want to fuel, give you some strategies, some tips for that, really dive into that. The early registration ends November 1st, but that's $397. I would welcome connecting via LinkedIn via Instagram. I have a Positively Powered Career Women's Facebook group. If that is something of interest, I'll put that in the chat, and I'll also drop my contact information in the chat. And for those of you, I'm guessing you're familiar with Zoom and saving the chat. There's a little 3 dots. You can go ahead and save the chat if there's any information from today's chat that you do want to save. And that'll drop right to your inbox. But I want to thank you for playing with me today, for allowing me the opportunity to spend time with you, for making a commitment to your personal growth, empowering your energy, and being here today, and allowing me to share. Thank you very much. And with that, I am going to turn it back over to Misi.
Hello again, everyone. And I hope you greatly enjoyed the Lunch and Learn we had today. And I want to circle back around the announcements for those who may have missed them earlier. AEE World will be held virtually this year on the dates of December 1st to the 4th. And if you would like to find out more information about all the events that will be held during the AEE World, please see the website that I have provided on the slide to the left. And also at AEE World on December 3rd and 4th, CWEEL will host 3 events. And they will be great events and awesome events, and we hope that you all will be able to join us. And please invite others. And once again, there will be more information to come, so please stay tuned. And again, if you would like to become a member of CWEEL, please use the website that I have provided below to do so. And once again, I want to thank everyone who has joined us, and I want to thank Natalie for being a part of this Lunch and Learn that we have put together this October. And we hope that you all will join us for future Lunch and Learns and future events with CWEEL. Thank you.
I just wanted to chime in as well, and Natalie, say thank you for just what a wonderful session this was, and I just got so much out of it. That poem at the end was really beautiful about how your thoughts are magnetic, and the secret, and how you attract good things by your thinking. So again, thank you so much, and really enjoyed meeting everyone on the call. Natalie, any sort of final wrap up from you at all, or?
You're welcome, welcome. I'll include a copy of the poem with the resources I sent out, but feel free to share that to the CWEEL network. And thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity and glad that we were able to get energized together today. Thank you.
Very good. And we'll follow up with the recording and the handout. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.